Hey everyone, and welcome back to another YouTube video. I am so thrilled and excited to announce that the new beginner guide on toner sculpt has been added and launched, and I cannot wait for absolutely everyone to give it a go. It can be super intimidating joining the gym or even starting your fitness journey, and sometimes you really don't know where to start. So it was my duty and the whole entire Toner Sculpt team's duty to give you a helping hand and the tools you need to start your fitness journey. So myself and Olivia, who's our very own Toner Sculpt client, have decided to provide you with some great content to help you along your fitness journey. Olivia has been doing the Toner Sculpt app, and Olivia is absolutely incredible, and I asked her to join along today to share some of our important tips and tricks on this video. We're going to be doing a lower body workout. We're going to be showing you 3 exercises that are absolutely fundamental to your lower body days. Before we get into this video, I really wanted to introduce Olivia and for her to tell you about her personal fitness journey. So Olivia?
Hi, I'm Liv, I'm 18, I'm currently at university. I started the gym about January this year. I was generally feeling like unhappy, unmotivated, stressed, and I've gotten so much out of my fitness journey. I find that it gives me like space for me to think and to de-stress from the day and to just not think about any of my other problems other than
yourself.
Yeah, I just think about me, and it's been great, and I've loved the app. You're really inspiring.
Oh, thank you so much. I get really nervous on my own. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm really excited, and I love the fact that she's a student, because I remember when I was doing my law degree, I was like stressed the hell out. So the fact that you're a student, you're going to relate to so many people watching this, because it is such a stressful time in your life, and the fact that you've implemented fitness and you didn't let stress or university or workload get in the way is so inspiring. So you should be honestly so proud of yourself, because some people would have been like, no, I'm not doing it, I'm too stressed. So we're going to take you through 3 exercises, staple exercises on your lower body day for a beginner, but we're also going to provide you with alternatives and ways that you can make it from beginner to intermediate. So if you're excited to watch this video, which I know will help you, we will both help you, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and give us a little thumbs up. And without further ado, let's get into this video. The first exercise that we're going to be showing you is a body weight squat. When it comes to squats, I know a lot of people are super intimidated by them, and it can be a bit scary.
Yeah, I definitely still don't enjoy doing them, they feel scary. So.
And you told me that, so behind scenes, Olivia was saying, you know, when it comes to squats, I'm still a little bit intimidated by them, I'm still a little bit scared by them, and I like the fact that she admitted that, because so many people, you know, they have a bit of an ego at the gym. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna go lift so heavy, injure yourself, and that's exactly what we don't want you to do. So thank you for being honest with that, because some people wouldn't even admit that. So when it comes to squats, it's a compound movement, so you are working multiple muscles at once, which is amazing, especially if you're short on time. The reason why I've introduced the body weight squat in your beginner guide is because you have to perfect your form in order for you to move on to phase 1, which is intermediate, on part of the Toner Sculpt guide. Now, the whole fundamental purpose behind that is, if you are not perfecting your form at the beginning, there is no point you moving on, because you're going to injure yourself, and I want you to focus on your form. It is key. So what we're going to do is, Olivia, what's your normal stance when you do a squat? So that's your normal stance, and that's how you're squatting down. So if you come up for me, so as you can see here, Olivia's feet are a little bit wider the shoulder width apart. Now what this means is, this is her comfortable position due to her mobility. A lot of people have a more narrow stance, a lot of people have a more wider stance. It's completely down to you. Please don't think you have to have a narrow stance with your feet completely forward. That could actually cause you more injury than good. The reason being is everybody's mobility, hip and ankle mobility is different. So as you can notice here, her feet are actually naturally a little bit externally rotated, and that's the same for me. So if I'm standing, I'm a little bit like this, and that feels comfortable, right? So I want you to loosen your knees a bit There we go. Don't completely lock your knees out. This could actually cause a lot of injury, and another thing, you can lose balance. So by having a little bit of softness to your knees, you're gonna prevent injury. So now, how would you squat down if you were just doing it on your own? So as you can see, naturally, Olivia has brought her arms forward. So this is comfortable for you, right? And then when you're squatting down, everything feels super comfortable and super nice. So if you squat down again. So this is one way of performing a squat. Another way is if you cross your arms forward and then squat down for me. As you can see, naturally, by crossing your arms forward, her back is naturally straighter and her chest is upright. So if you come up for me, by crossing your arms forward, your chest is forced to be upright and you're forced to have a straighter back. If you are keeping your arms straight forward, this is completely fine, but sometimes you could tip over, which means you're gonna cause a lot of injury in your ankle. So if you go back down with your arms crossed, her back is nice and straight, her chest is upright, her knee is parallel to her toes. This is exactly what I want you to do. So, a lot of people, do you want to come up? She's like, oh my God, really? A lot of people think that your knees need to not be over your toes. In my personal opinion, this is a bit of a myth. The reason being, if your knees are parallel to your toes, you are doing a great job. So what I mean by this is, if you go back down, now can you kind of cave your knees in for me? This is exactly what you want to prevent. So by pushing out and keeping your knees parallel to your toes, you are avoiding injury, and you're also going to work your quads, your glutes and your hamstrings, as opposed to hurting your ankles and your lower back. Come up for me. Her core is nice and straight, and the breathing technique that I want you to do is, this is the following. Cross over, inhale, fill your core in with as much oxygen as possible, go down, keep it in, and then breathe out as you come back up. Yet again, breathe in, down, shoot back up. As you can see as well, knees should constantly have a little bit of mobility and a little bit of flexibility. You don't want to completely lock your knees out, you're going to cause injury. So what I want you to do is keep a slight bend to your knees. There we go, bit jiggle. Cross over, go down, and then you come back up, still, there we go, that's it. Go down, and then come back up, there. You don't want to completely lock them out. You're going to injure yourself. Down, and there. Good. Couple more. Perfect. Another thing is that I want you to focus on is the distribution of the weight on your feet. Now what I mean by that is, a lot of people come a bit forward and put all the distribution of the weight on the balls of their feet. A lot of people do it on their heel. So what I want you to do is imagine you are pushing down on the floor as much as you possibly can. Distribute the weight evenly. Nice, strong stance. Arms crossed over. Breathing in. Go down. How's that feel?
Good.
Good?
I definitely find the distribution hard.
Do you come forward or go back?
Go back.
Yeah, you're using your heels more, right? So if you're doing that, you can also use the couch or a box, step, anything that you find at the gym. So this will be actually a good indication of how you should go down and then shoot back up. So then what you're finding is you're kind of forced to distribute the weight evenly, and you're forced to keep your back upright, your chest upright, and your core really nice and stiff. There's a lot of people do that, but a lot of people actually use the balls of their feet, because what happens is they're trying to keep their knees so parallel and their knees not going over their toes that they're like, oh my God. So by you distributing the weight evenly is actually going to be so much more beneficial. Yeah. Another way that we can make this a little bit more intermediate or advanced is by adding a weight. So to make it a bit more intermediate or advanced, you're going to add a dumbbell. I want you to hold off with the barbell just yet. I want you to kind of perfect your form. Give yourself a good 4-week period. Add a dumbbell if you're feeling a bit more confident, and then move over to a barbell and weights. So what I want you to do is hold this between your hands for me, Olivia, and bring it forward to your chest. Like that. So you want to hold it really nice and comfortable. Your elbows nice and tucked in, not flared out. You want to keep them nicely and tucked in. And you're literally going to do everything I told you to do body weight, but now this time you have a free weight with you. So let's try it. Perfect. Perfect. Look how straight her back is. Go down, straight back. And she's not going completely down. She's finding that sweet spot. You don't have to be arse the grass. You don't have to be just here. She's finding that sweet spot. Her eyesight straight forward, her chest upright, core nice and engaged, distribution of the weight, and you're not locking your knees out. It's fantastic. You're actually doing such a banging job. So that's the first exercise. We're going to move on to the second exercise, which is leg abductions. The second exercise we're going to go into is leg abductions. I love this exercise because it's absolutely amazing for your hip mobility and your glutes as well. So when it comes to abductions, you can do them multiple different ways. With a chair, standing, holding onto a wall, weighted, or even lying down. So which way would you do it if you were doing it?
I'd usually do sort of weighted.
With almost on the wall? Yeah. And when you feel them, where do you feel them? So hold on to me like I'm your wall.
There.
Right here, that's exactly where you should feel them. And then when you're going up, are you contracting and then releasing back down? So if you're doing the Toner Sculpt app with a bestie, which I always do with Holly, Holly's my bestie, so me and her kind of always do the app together because sometimes I feel so unmotivated, so I just want to do it with someone. A great way to do an abduction is hold on to each other like so, and you're essentially abducting outwards, contracting before coming back down. Now I love, you're doing it perfectly. The reason you're doing it perfectly is because you're actually keeping a constant tension in your leg. You're not kind of launching it back down, flopping it back down, starting again, flopping back down. You're keeping that constant tension on your leg. So Olivia did it perfectly. She started off here. Olivia did it perfectly. She started off here. She raised her leg outwards, came back down. Raised outwards, came back down, and kept that constant tension at all times. She wasn't just flopping it down, relaxing, and then going back up, relaxing. So also, what I want you to do is when you go back up, I actually want you to hold it for a little bit longer. So hold it, contract, come back down. Now, what I want you to do is also lean a little bit forward. Yeah. The reason why I want you to lean a bit forward is because you're definitely isolating your leg that way. You're putting all the pressure on this leg. By the way, you have amazing quads. I just noticed, I was like, oh, okay. So you're putting all the pressure on the stability of this leg and you're contracting the abducting leg. So what I mean by that is you're bringing yourself a little bit forward, putting all the distribution on this leg, bringing your abductor out, coming back in, out, coming back in. So give it a go. I'm your stability. There we go, that feels better, huh? Yeah. Great. So, another tip that you can do, and this is really gonna hit those abductors and glutes. If you rotate your foot slightly inwards, right? And then you do it, you're gonna feel it differently, I promise you. So ready, hold on to me, rotate and go. Yeah, you feel it differently, right? It's because you're forcing your leg to come in and you're forcing yourself to isolate. Yeah. So you can, if you grab me that chair, so if you don't have a wall that you can balance on, you can simply use a wooden chair like this one that we made earlier. Hold on to it for me, and then you can abduct. That's it. Perfect. You're literally doing it perfectly. Amazing. So her chest is coming a little bit forward, her back is nice and straight, and her leg is abducting outwards, you're contracting, and then you're controlling your negatives down. You're not flopping your leg back down. So do it a couple more times for me. Just like so. You see how perfect that is? Absolutely perfect. Great. Now you can also do this lying on the floor with a mat. To make it a little bit more intense, intermediate, advanced, what you can do is add a dumbbell. So I'm going to put this over on Olivia's leg. Right here, you're going to hold it close to you. You're going to abduct outwards. There we go. So So what I want you to do as well, come back up, contract, hold it, squeeze, and then come back down. It's hard, I know. Ready? Contract, go down. Contract, and release back down. Contract, release back down. Do 2 more for me. 1, 2, give me 1 more. 3, perfect. So there you go, that's your abductor and your second exercise that I want you to perfect. We're moving on to the third exercise, which is a body weight bridge. So grab your mat and be ready. The third exercise that we really want to show you is a body weight bridge. Now, I think bridges are so amazing because they work the glutes, you're isolating your glutes and you're also working your hamstrings. A lot of us have jobs, and as a student, you're sat for a very long time, and that means your glutes are not being activated, you're not working your glutes or your hip abductors and mobility. So introducing a glute bridge into your routine is really fundamental, and it's really gonna help you fire up those buns, fire up those legs, and get a good workout in. So I've laid the mat down, so I want you to just lay for me comfortably. Perfect. If you just come a little bit forward, there we go, upwards, not forward. So perfect. So she's perfectly in place here. So how would you normally perform a bridge? Just like so, go back down. Can I do a couple more for me? Perfect. And when you perform the bridge, where exactly do you feel it?
At the top.
At the top of your glutes,
yeah.
Okay. And then a couple of things I want to point out on. So your upper body is perfect. You're keeping it nice and flat. You're not letting it curve over. You're not keeping it flimsy. You're actually keeping it quite tight, which is great. Secondly, your legs, we're going to change them up a bit.
Yeah.
So your positioning, I want you to actually separate them a bit more. And then your feet, I want you to externally rotate them a bit more outwards. So could you do that for me? I'm going to position them here, and then here, and then here, and here. Okay, perfect. Now what I want you to do is keep your chin nice and tucked into your body. Great. And kind of look forward. When you come up, okay, perfect. I want you to contract your glutes for 3 to 4 seconds. So go back down, contract, 1, 2, yeah. You're like, where do I contract? Okay, ready, go up, 1, 2, 3. Now, a really good tip is I want you to imagine your tailbone is an ice cream scooper. So when you're coming up, you almost want to scoop your tailbone into your body. So what I mean by that, do you want to just come up and I'll show? If you just come up, I'll show. So what I mean by an ice cream scooper is you want to be flat on your back, your legs like this, and instead of just coming up and down, you want to almost curve. So I'm curving my glutes into my body. I'm holding for 3 seconds, controlling my negatives before curving back up. My core is nice and tight, my upper body is stationary on the floor, and I'm coming back down. Should we give it a go? So let's put all of those tips together now. Perform it. Curve, you're curving, right? You're feeling it more?
Yeah.
Come up.
And my hamstrings.
And your hamstrings, perfect. I'm just gonna come forward and have a little look. Perfect, your hamstrings should definitely be feeling it, your glutes should definitely be feeling it. You're much more engaged. You're much more tighter and in control of your movement. That's exactly what you need to be doing. So, let's make it a bit more intense. We can add a dumbbell, and I want you to position it right on your hip area. If this feels uncomfortable, look, you can add a pillow of some sort right here, and that feels a little bit more comfortable. So if you've performed the glute bridge for me, there we go. Perfect, literally perfect form. That's it, contract, hold, release and back down. Perfect, give me a couple more. That's it. You're in control of the movement at all times. Perfect, thank you so much. How did that feel?
Right, yeah, I could feel it when we changed the
Curve.
Yeah.
When you scoop, it literally feels like your tailbone is going so into your body and you're like contracting. When you're scooping in your tailbone, imagine it's an ice cream scooper. You're scooping it in, you're tucking that tailbone in, contracting your glutes at the top for a good 3 to 4 seconds before controlling your negative back down. By keeping your chin tucked into your chest and looking forward, you are keeping your spine neutral and your head neutral as well. You don't want it overly extended, you don't want it too tucked in. You want to keep it just nice and tucked and looking forward at all times. Olivia absolutely smashed it and perfected her form. So that means she incorporated a dumbbell to make it a little bit more intense. And like I said, you can add some sort of cushioning on your hip bones so you'd prevent bruising and any injury. Another thing, once you've perfected those two movements by adding a dumbbell and also doing it with your body weight, it's time to move over to the barbell. I want you to also be following the Tone and Sculpt Instagram account, where we have so many already how-to videos and new how-to videos launching that are going to be absolutely incredible. So go check that out right now, because I know you're gonna want to, and I know it's gonna serve you some benefits, so yeah. So that is it, guys. I really hope we both helped you along your fitness journey and we both helped you perfect your form. Olivia, thank you so much for being here.
Much for having me.
It means so much to me that you came, so thank you. And honestly, anyone can do this. So be sure to download the Tone and Sculpt app for your 7-day free trial and try some of the beginner workouts, because you're not at this alone. Anyone can do it.
Definitely.
Literally, doesn't matter if you're a student, working 9 till 5.
Anything, you can do it.
Exactly. So we can do it, you can do it. We love you always and forever. Bye.
Bye.